What if Golurk was in Gen 1 OU? This is probably not a Pokemon that many of you really think about, unless you play on lower tiers or you grew up with the Gen 5 games. But I was just randomly thinking about it this morning. I don't know if anyone has recommended him or not, but I was just listening to music when I thought about Golurk, thought about his typing, and I was like, oh, that could be interesting for Gen 1. Also, just random fact about me, whenever I think about like a type in Pokemon, the first thing that always pops into my mind is the physical special split. Mostly because of just how many of these videos I've done. But I'm always thinking to myself, okay, what would this Pokemon stab type be if it was put in Gen 1 OU? So, does that mean I'm permanently online? Probably. Should you send help? Absolutely. But Golurk, honestly, the only thing he kind of wishes he had more of is special. And that's only assuming he gets 55 special and not 80 special. And I'm not sure which one they would lean towards if he were to be in Gen 1. I guess it would make more sense for him to have 55. Not to mention, I'm not sure what his base stat total is like compared to Gengar. I know Gengar has like low attack and defense. So maybe it would be like a reverse. In one game you can get the Gengar line, and then like, you know, like low defense, high special, and then Golurk would be like in Pokemon Blue version, but the opposite. High physical attack, but you know, low special. Either way though, I think that Golurk would have an excellent time in Gen 1 OU. Because first of all, his type defensively is just like stupid good. Like, Ghost is already great, but now you're a Ghost type that has no weakness to Earthquake, and if anything, because of your like, you know, good HP and defense, you can take it pretty well. You aren't weak to Psychic, which I don't think I need to emphasize just how much of a big deal that is. And instead of having those two weaknesses, you maintain all of your immunities to normal. Most importantly, immunity to explosion. But you also resist, or not resist, you're just flat out immune to Thunderbolt and Thunder Wave. So yeah, I think out of nowhere, Golurk just suddenly gets the best defensive typing in the game. Like, what really comes close? Your Psychic, maybe? Probably not. Rock Ground having a normal resistance is good, but it's not this level. So, yeah. I would even argue that maybe Golurk's typing alone would be enough to where it probably would see, like, legitimate OU play. But it even has, you know, like a good attack stat. And its speed, it's a speed tie with Executor. And while for that matchup in particular, it doesn't really change much, because spoiler alert, you don't have many ways to hurt Executor. But 55 base speed is relevant, because it does mean that you're faster than Chansey, which is more than other Pokemon like Rhydon can say. And being faster than Chansey means that your weakness towards Ice Beam isn't actually the worst thing in the world, especially since with how strong you are physically, you can easily threaten Chansey. And speaking of his ice weakness, yeah, even though Ground Ghost is an amazing defensive typing, having a weakness towards Blizzard is annoying. It's definitely not a deal breaker, because like, he still has the best defensive typing in the game, and even the best defensive typings always have weaknesses. Like, I don't think we're going to say Steel Fairy is garbage because it's weak to like Earthquake or Overheat. So, he has the stats, he has the typing, and even his move pool is surprisingly diverse. He has what you would expect with Earthquake, but he also has Fire Punch, Ice Beam. Not sure why he needed Ice Beam in Gen 5, but he has that. Low Kick, which is just not good enough in my opinion. Nightshade, just for good, consistent damage. He has Psychic, which I don't think is really worth it. Because of how low Golurk special is, I do not think it's worth, like putting it on. Like, you don't need to raise fish or special drops. If you are going to use a special move, probably just should use like super effective coverage. He has Rock Slide, which I deadass just forgot about, and I'm remembering right now. That probably should be in the main moveset instead of like Nightshade. But still, it's not nice having Nightshade. And he even has Thunderbolt and Thunder Punch. So even though, oh, and also like Hyper Beam, like that goes without saying. But even without like high special, with Bolt Beam coverage, he can still hit anything like super effectively, or pretty much anything. So with Earthquake, Rock Slide, Hyper Beam, and maybe Rest, I guess I can probably see you like, you know, getting some turns in, you know, where you can like heal. Or you can replace this with Thunderbolt so that you can sorta kinda chip water types. It's not very good, but it could be something just to use just to jump scare them a little bit before switching into like a better counter. So yeah, good stats, good typing, amazing typing, and a really good move pool. That's really good. Now let's get on to the replay, shall we? We always gotta start with the boy himself, Tauros. And Blizzard is annoying, but you're grateful it's only a 3-hit KO. Too bad Tauros can still crit. But still, Tauros can't use Hyper Beam or Body Slam against you. Not to mention, even though Blizzard can, you know, it's still very dangerous. Keep in mind, unlike Earthquake, it does have a chance to miss. So if you have to do the Tauros, you know, matchup, you can get lucky. It's always possible. And then for Snorlax, it's weird. Like, obviously, against like most physical Snorlaxes, they only really have, you know, Earthquake, which means that it's pretty much a free win-up, or free matchup. Reflect Wax and Amnesia Wax, like, probably beat you. But the main question I have is, would Golurk in the format, like, almost entirely just make most, like, stab Snorlax that's unviable? Not saying he doesn't want Body Slam, but, like, Self-Destruct Wax, or Hyper Beam. Would we even see these moves on Snorlax anymore? Because now you have not just one, but two usable ghost types. And it's not like Haunter or Gengar, where, like, you know, they're like almost like identical, just one is just better. I feel like both Gengar and Golem, since they're good in many different ways, you could very easily justify using both of them on your team. And if you're using both of them, then, well, like, how many normal moves do you, like, you know, use? And also, like, the fact that Earthquake basically 2-hit KOs is just wonderful. I'm assuming Earthquake in of itself is in a damage range, but even if it's not, Hyper Beam can just very easily clean up. And it's not like Chansey can, you know, paralyze Golurk so that it can just spam Soft Boiled. So yeah, an amazing matchup against Chansey. You gotta love to see it. Also, I still love, like, the new, like, changes they made to the replays. It makes it so much easier. And looks so decently prettier. And then with Alakazam, both of them hit harder. Golurk hits harder naturally, but can't get an OHKO. Alakazam's faster, has recovery, and most importantly, while Golurk is immune to Thunder Wave, it doesn't mean it can't get crit with Psychic or get a special drop. So it could go either way, but the matchup can also leave, like, you know, Alakazam into being revenge killed. And it's still good for absorbing Thunder Waves. So, yeah, it could be worse. And we don't really talk about the Cloyster matchup. That's how much Thunderbolt does. It's just, there's nothing you can do. Which, even against like a paralyzed Cloyster, I don't think Thunderbolt would really do that much. So Cloyster can still just, like, you know, just murder with Blizzard, Surf, Clamp, like literally anything it wants. But I guess it's nice that Golurk could potentially absorb an explosion. And then Executor, Ice Beam does even worse. Look at that. That's pathetic. By the way, I do not think Fire Punch or Ice Beam is really worth it on Golurk. Thunderbolt maybe, because, like, I guess that is good enough damage on Cloyster, even if, like, it's an unwinnable matchup. Overall though, I would still say that like Earthquake and Rock Slide are probably mandatories. Hyper Beam and Nightshades are probablys. Same with Thunderbolt maybe. I don't really know. You let me know in the comments what you think the most optimal moveset for Golurk would be. And then for Gengar, like, I did one replay before this where Gengar just, hit Hypnosis and just got a special drop and crit with Psychic. I feel like for the most part, Gengar doesn't want to risk it. Like, it's good if Golurk gets put to sleep, but if that Hypnosis misses, Earthquake will just annihilate. So, it's up to you, I guess. Speaking of unwinnable matchups, Jinx, this is faster, and even if something's already asleep, there's still a good chance Blizzard can crit, and also it's just Blizzard. Not to mention, with literally yesterday's episode, I had the 155 base power Gyarados use Hyper Beam on Jinx, and it survived. So I highly doubt Golurk's like Stab Earthquake would OHKO Jinx, even if Blizzard or Levikiss does miss, which it probably won't, because Levikiss never misses. And then with Slowbro, you have Thunderbolt, but you do not hurt Slowbro, and even a crit wouldn't like cripple it. Just a single Amnesia is enough to just OHKO you. And hell, if Golurk is using base 55 special, I wouldn't even be surprised if just a regular serve OHKOs or puts you in the red. But I don't know if it does or not. Probably doesn't. And then with Rhydon, I did one replay where I tried using Ice Beam first, but only did like a fourth. So just another reason never use Ice Beam. Earthquake is just superior, as you see here. Although I will say, it's still impressive just how much attack Rhydon has, to where he almost did half health without even needing super effective damage. And then with Starmie, I guess with the water types, this is the best one it can do against, just because Starmie is by far the least bulky of them. But at the same time, Starmie is a lot faster, can crit, it can heal. It's not an unwinnable matchup, but it's definitely the worst in the bad matchups, I would say. And then for this replay, it's probably not entirely accurate, because somehow I forgot about Rock Slide. So, Drill Peck still does good damage, so maybe Zapdos would still be good go either way. But with Nightshade, yeah, Zapdos can just, out-damage you. Even just 2 Nightshades and a Hyper Beam is enough. But Rock Slide definitely would be. So, I will have to remember that. And I'll have to change it a little bit. I guess I'll just put Zapdos in good matchups. But here's the tier list. Overall, really good. Golurk, I think, would make a fine addition to the meta. I think he would add a lot of stuff. Just having another normal immunity and a paralysis immunity for the most part. Since the only thing that could paralyze Golurk would be, I think, just the Executor Stun Spore exactly. I think everything else just can't. Not Bonding Slam or Thunder Wave, or I guess there's Glare. I guess Glare could also paralyze Golurk, but spoiler, I'm pretty sure Golurk wins the 1v1 with Arbok. You can let me know in the comments below who you think would win. And also, what would you like to see next? One more thing I will say is that Golurk would be good here. I think Golurk would be even better in Gen 2, where he has physical Shadow Ball. And I even think that Golurk would be good in Gen 3 OU as well. I still feel like paralysis immunity, as well as just a ghost, ground, physical combo is just really strong. I think Golurk would fall off in Generation 4. I feel like the physical special split would just really hurt him, especially if the only physical ghost move he gets to keep is Shadow Punch. And then Golurk was in Gen 5 and beyond. We all know how he does there. What do you think? Do you think Golurk would be in Generation 1 OU? Or do you think he would drop off because of just his weakness to Blizzard or whatever? How good would he be? Do you think he would be better than Gengar? I personally think there's a good chance he could. Both definitely work in very different ways. But I do think regardless of which one ends up on top, you can very easily justify using both of them, which in turn would just nerf the normal types as a whole. Not enough to where any of them lose their spots as the top 3, but you would definitely feel the impact, like, you know, when just playing games and team building. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you. What the heck? Oh, by the way, I forgot to say it. Discord. I have a Discord server. You should join it. I'm definitely not, like, just reminding you now because it didn't stop recording when I tried stopping recording. I love you.